Hey, GED students. I had a student for Reha who messaged us on Facebook with this question, which is actually one of ours. Um, from the crash course, we've got a lesson page there on volume and surface area, and this is on the advanced level practice. So, a little word problem, application problem here. Let's go ahead and take a look. So it says a toy company sells balls o' slime for the holidays. Ooh, that sounds joyous. The balls are hollow plastic ornaments, 4 centimeters in diameter, filled with sparkling red slime. That does sound beautiful. Let's get a red pen out here so we can draw a little picture of this. So it's a ball, so kind of rounds like a three-dimensional circle here. And it is 4 centimeters in diameter. So diameter is a line that goes through the center of a circle or a sphere and goes all the way from end to end. So 4 centimeters. And the whole thing's filled with sparkling red slime. Sorry, I don't have any sparkles, y'all. If the toy company receives an order for 150 balls of slime, oh, that's an interesting idea. I'm not just going to make one of these, I'm going to do 150 of them. I'm going to do whatever I'm doing 150 times. How many cubic centimeters of slime to the nearest 100 will they need to fill the order? All right, so you guys have a little hint that I'm either talking volume or surface area because I told you this is from that worksheet, but when you go to do the GED, you're not going to know it's volume or surface area a day. So let's talk about how I know what to do here. First thing I notice is that this is a 3D shape. It's a ball, also known as sphere. That gives me a really big clue that I'm in the land of geometry, measuring 3D shapes. And on the GED, we have two ways that we look at measuring 3D shapes. We measure surface area, that's the covering over a 3D shape, or we measure volume. That's the amount to fill a 3D shape. So that's got to be our first question. Is this a surface area problem or is this a volume problem? A lot of times in a word problem, they won't tell you. So let's go ahead, look for some clues in the word problem. Notice that they asked us how many cubic centimeters of slime to the nearest 100 will they need to fill the order. And there's something interesting about that slime. That slime, it said, filled the ornaments. Those ornaments were filled with sparkling red slime. There are so many clues here that this is a volume problem. The slime is filling up the ornaments. Also, we see the slime measured in cubic centimeters. Volume is always measured in cubic units. It's a three-dimensional measurement. And so, yeah, this is a volume problem. So I am finding the volume of a sphere, a ball. And so first place I'm going to hit up is the GED formula sheet. The whole big top half of the formula sheet is all these different measurement formulas. Now we are looking for a 3D one. They're right here, surface area and volume. And you can see there's volume of a sphere. And maybe we should blow this page up a little bit. So we can see there's the volume of a sphere formula. And careful, don't take this one. See the SA? That one's surface area. You want this one. V is equal to 4/3 times pi times r cubed, or r to the third power. Whew, got my formula. Now all I need to do is plug into it. Looks like the only thing I need to figure out the volume of a sphere is to know the radius of my sphere, the r. So let's go ahead and do our substitution step. So remember, when you're substituting into formula, don't drop any numbers. You can feel free in these word problems to use the decimal approximation for pi. That's 3.14, or you could just use your pi button on your calculator. And then r, we need to know the radius, and we need to be able to cube that in order to do this formula. Now be really careful. Don't just sit there and plug in whatever number you see. That's the biggest mistake I see. We don't currently know the radius, and I often joke the GED is not your mama. They're not here to give you what you need. It is a math reasoning test. They're here to test if you actually understand what you're doing. You are supposed to know that if the diameter of a circle goes all the way across and it's 4 centimeters, and the radius only goes halfway across a circle from the center to the outside. So the radius is half the diameter. Let me say that again. The radius is half the diameter. That's not on the formula sheet. You just need to know it. All right. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to half that number. I'm going to take 4, divide it into 2 equal pieces. 4 divided by 2 gives me 2 centimeters. Okay, my radius here is 2 centimeters. Great. That's a little trick to watch out for on the GED. They love to give you diameter when you need radius. All right, now what do I do? Well, take a look over here. All you have over here is all numbers and operations. There's no letters left. That means you can just pick up your TI calculator and type the entire right-hand side, that entire expression in. And I am even going to show you how to do that on screen. Okay, here is my TI. If I wanted to type in this expression 4/3, there is a fraction button right here on the screen, N over D. Now you should get this nice horizontal fraction bar like I did. If you get a diagonal one, I would go change my mode to be a math print mode. Most times on the GED, you want to be in math print mode. So hit the mode button, change it to math print mode, and you should get this nice horizontal fraction bar like I have. And we're going to type 4 at the top. We're going to use the arrow key, this big gray arrow key over at the top right to move around so we can get to the bottom and type 4/3. And then I'm going to arrow out of my fraction before starting the parentheses. And I know a lot of times when there are parentheses, you could just replace it with a time sign, but I highly recommend you just use parentheses because parentheses do more than just the time sign does. And so sometimes it makes a difference and sometimes it doesn't. And students don't always know when it makes a difference. So just use them. Just use them. Okay. So anyway, times 3.14, and then I'm going to times that by 2, close my parentheses, and that 2 needs to be raised to the third power. Now, this is what students don't know how to do. So when you want to get up into the sky, you need this caret button on the left. It's right above x squared. It's caret. And then that'll bring me up into the sky so that I can type that I want the third power. I can use that caret button to get any power I want. The 87th power, the negative third power, the 4/5 power, powers that don't even come up on the GED. But anyway. Now you can see that this expression looks exactly like my expression. I go ahead and press enter, and I have this long, ugly answer. And I'm just going to write it down first. And then I will go looking through my problem for some rounding directions. This is a pretty gross number. It looks like I might need to round, okay? So let's see. Oh, I better. Oh, guys, I was about to screw some crap up. I am so glad I went to reread my problem. And FYI, if the math teacher who does math 10 hours a day can screw up word problems, so can you. So make sure you reread. You don't just go, oh, look, I found an answer. It's such a happy answer. I forgot that I'm receiving an order for 150 balls of slime. I'm not just filling one ball, I'm filling 150. So this 33.49333, this is the cubic centimeters of slime for one ball. I need 150, so I'm going to have to take this answer and multiply it by 150. If I want the volume of 150 balls, that's going to be this number times 150. Well, while I still have it in my calculator, I'm going to type times 150 right here, and I have a feeling that number is about to get a lot prettier. It sure did. 5,024. Okay. Now's the time to talk about rounding. We don't want to round until we're at the end of our problem, guys. So I have 5,024 cubic centimeters, and the directions say how many cubic centimeters of slime to the nearest, 100. Not hundredth, the nearest 100 will they need to fill the order. Ooh, this is tricky. I almost want to change my problem. Well, I'm going to obey it because of what my problem says. I want to make sure that I'm obedient. But then we'll talk a little bit about why that might even be a silly answer. But to the nearest 100 means I want to round to the hundreds place. So this is ones, tens. Here's my hundreds. So I'm going to cut right here, and I'm going to consider the number I'm about to throw away, the 2. It's not big enough to matter, so this guy will round down. That's about 5,000 cubic centimeters. Now, I followed the directions, so this is the right answer. However, in real world, we probably wouldn't round down, would we? Or we wouldn't have enough slime to fill our ball. So we would probably end up just rounding up to 5,100. But since the problem told me to, I will be obedient, even though it's a little silly. And that's what happens when A math teacher writes your problems instead of a real world toy company executive. But we have 5,000 cubic centimeters of slime we're going to need to fill this order. All right, if you have any questions about this or any other GED math topic, be sure to drop them in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them.